Hello class, in this video we are going to review Unit 6, Section A. And to do that, let's go over some of these practice problems. How many centimeters are in each measurement? So the first thing we need to know is that for every 1 meter, every 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. Okay, so that means that for every 1 meter, if we want to find out how many centimeters there are, we are going to multiply it by 100 because 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So for each of these, we are going to multiply them by 100. So this in centimeters is going to be times 100 times 100 times 100. Okay, so how do we multiply 12 hundredths, 0.12 times 100? Very simple. When we multiply by a power of 10, in this case 100, all we have to do, this is a shortcut, all we have to do is move the decimal place, the number of zeros that you see there. Well, since you're multiplying, this number is becoming bigger, so you're moving the number, you're moving the decimal point this way to make the number bigger. 1, 2, right? So this is what the decimal point is now. So the number is 12. 12 centimeters. So now we have 3.5 meters, so times 100. So the decimal point is here. So we're gonna go 1, 2. Well, we can just add a 0 here. So that's 350 centimeters. Now we got 19 meters times 100. Well, this is a whole number here. So in a whole number, the decimal place is after the ones, 9 ones here. So the decimal place is over here. So this decimal place is moving 2 places this way. 1, 2. You can just add zeros here. So that is 1900 or 1900 centimeters. Okay, let's check out this one now. How many millimeters are in each measurement? Okay, well, the first thing we need to know is that 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. So that means that each of these meters, to convert them into millimeters, all we need to do is multiply them by 1,000. So this is going to be 3 times 1,000. This is going to be 37 times 1,000. This is going to be times 1,000. So 33 times 1,000. That's 3,000. So that's 3,000 millimeters. This is 37,000 millimeters. And this is 1,915,000. Notice how we just added 3 zeros. Notice how we just added 3 zeros to the number. Notice how we just added 3 zeros to the number. This is the beauty of multiplying by powers of 10. Okay, so how does the whole number of meters change when it is represented in millimeters? Well, Basically, the numbers gets multiplied by 1,000 to get the measurement in millimeters. So this is shifting uh, the digits 3 places to the left because the numbers are getting bigger by a factor of 1,000. So each digit is shifting 3 places to the left. So that's the reason that, for example, when we multiply 3 by 1,000, let's say we have 3 over here, the decimal point is over here, right? So if you're multiplying by 1,000, so it's shifting 1, 2, 3. The digits are shifting this way, right? So that's why we say that we can, like, even though the decimal is not really moving, but we say that we move it in order to show that the digits are moving this way. So the decimal point is now over here. It's no longer over here. So that's how you get 3,000. So again, basically we just multiply by 1,000, and when we multiply by 1,000, we are all the digits are shifting 3 places to the left. And in a case of a whole number like these, we're just adding those 3 zeros to it. Okay, let's do another example here. How about this one? How many meters are in each measurement? Well, the first thing that we need to know is that 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. Okay, so if we want to convert millimeters to meters, right, we're going from this way to this way, right? So before, when we converted meters to millimeters, notice how we multiply by 1,000. So now that we are converting the opposite way, that means that we have to divide by 1,000. So I know that in 1 millimeter, there's 1,000th of a meter. So that means I'm dividing by 1,000. So this is gonna be 16 millimeters divided by 1,000. Okay, this is 1,375 millimeters divided by 1,000. 57 millimeters, that's gonna be divided by 1,000. So when we are dividing a number by 1,000, that means that the digits are shifting 3 places this way to the right because each digit is becoming smaller. Now I'm shifting that 1, 2, 3. There's my decimal point. And in this blank space here, I'm adding a 0. Because again, 1, 2, so now it's the 1. So 1 more, I add the 0. So that is 0.016. There's a 0 right here. There are no 1s. Okay, how about this one? You have 1,375. Yeah, 1,375. You're dividing that by 1,000. The decimal point right now is right here. Okay, so the digits are becoming smaller. Each digit is shifting 3 places to the right. So to show that, we can move the decimal point 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So this is my new decimal point. So the answer is going to be 1.375. Okay, well, meters. Oh, this meters too. We're going from a small smaller unit to a bigger unit. That's what we're dividing. So now we have 57 millimeters divided by 1,000. Okay, well, it's going to be just like this one. 16 millimeters became 16 thousandths. Well, this is going to become 57 thousandths. 0.057. I'll show you that right here. You got 57 right here. I'm sorry. 57. The decimal point is right here. You move it 1, 2, 3. You add that 0, and there's a 0 here. So you got 0.057. That's 57 thousandths. And how does a whole number of millimeters change when you represent the measurement in meters? Basically, it is divided by 1,000. And that means that each digit moves 3 places to the right. And to show that the digits are moving 3 places to the right, we are moving the decimal point to the left, like this. Because the digits are moving this way. The number is becoming smaller. Notice how when we multiply, it was the opposite thing that was happening, right? The numbers were becoming bigger. Okay. Let's do another example. So we got here, a track is 366 meters around. An athlete runs 15 laps. What is the distance in kilometers? Okay, so the first thing I need to know is that I need to know the distance in kilometers, right? So we got 366 meters. Oops, 366 meters and 15 laps of 366 meters. So that means that we have to multiply 366 times 15. Let me just remember that 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. Because whatever we get when we multiply this, we have to convert it into kilometers. So let's go ahead and do the multiplication. We got 366 by 15. All right, so we'll do 5 times 6, 30. 0, carry the 3. 5 times 6 is 30 again. Plus 3, 33. Okay, 5 times 3 is 15. Plus the 3 is 18. Okay, so now we're doing 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. So now we add up these partial products. 0, 9, 14, 3, 4, 5. So what we have to do here, so we got 5,490 meters. These are meters. And we need to convert that into kilometers. So we know that 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. So if it was kilometers and we need to convert them into meters, we would just multiply by 1,000. But if we have meters and we need to convert them to kilometers, then we have to do the opposite operation. We need to divide by 1,000. So it's going to be let's do it in red. It's going to be 5,490 divided by 1,000. So we are dividing by a power of 10. Every time we divide by a power of 10, there is a shortcut that we can do, and that is to move the decimal place, the number of places, the number of zeros here, got 1, 2, 3. So this number is becoming smaller because we are dividing. So the decimal place, we got to move it this way. So the decimal point is right now is right here. Right, so we're gonna move 1, 2, 3. So the answer is gonna be exactly 5.490. Okay, so we got 5 and 490 thousandths, or we can also say 5 and 49 hundredths. Okay, it's that simple, really, to convert metric units by multiplying or dividing by a power of 10. Let's do one last one here. It says Claire drinks 8 glasses of water each day. There are 235 milliliters in each glass. How many liters of water does Claire drink each day? Okay, so we got 8 glasses of water each day. And in each glass, there are 235 milliliters in each glass. So first we need to figure out how many total milliliters, and then we do the final conversion where we need to convert it into liters because it's asking us how many liters of water does Claire drink each day. So go ahead and pause the video and try this out for yourself. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to do the multiplication. We got 235 times 8 glasses. Okay, so we got 8 times 5, right? That's 40. Let's carry that 4. We got 8 times 3. Okay, that's 24. Plus the 4. Okay, that's 28. Carry the 2 right here. So we got 8 times 2. 16, 17, 18. Okay, so we got 1,880 milliliters. All right, so milliliters in each glass. So it's asking us how many liters of water does Claire drink each day? So here we have milliliters, and we need to convert that into liters. So first of all, we need to understand that 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. Notice how when you see the word milli, that has to do with 1,000. Just like when you see the word centi, that has to do with 100. So if we were converting from liters into milliliters, then we will multiply by 1,000. But we are converting the opposite way. We are converting from milliliters into liters. So that means that 1 milliliter equals 1,000th of a liter. So that means that we have to divide by 1,000, right? So that means we have to do 1,880 divided by 1,000. And again, when we divide by a power of 10, such as 1,000, all we are doing is moving the decimal point to show how the digits are shifting to the right to become smaller by 3 place values. So let's say that the decimal point, right now, in every whole number, the decimal point is to the right of the ones place, is right here. And that decimal point is going to shift 3 places. This way, 1, 2, 3. So the answer is 1.880. Okay, so how many liters of water does Claire drink each day? Well, Claire drinks 1 and 880,000 liters of water, or we can say 1 and 88 hundredths. So 1.88 liters of water is what she drinks. Okay, class, I hope that you were able to understand. I'll see you in the next one.